In archaeological and historical terms, a midden is a physical place, in or on the ground, where human settlements would deposit their waste materials, typically shells of bones, of broken pottery, ash, and other organic materials. These sites offer us a way to uncover the material data evidence of our past cultural practices and social behaviours. Whilst middens can provide us with insight into the layered stories of our past, they can also offer a window for questioning our present relationships with waste and for predicting the future impacts that industrialised materials will have on ecosystems, biodiversity, the food chain, and on climate change. As human populations increase, the waste piles that settlements now generate are growing faster than management systems such as landfill and incineration, or the solutions such as recycling and energy capture can even adapt to manage them. The term landfill embodies a form of predictable containment, somewhere hidden, somewhere other, somewhere inert. However, these new landfill middens are not like those of our past. Much of this deposited waste will never break down through biological or geological processes and never become nutrients for something new. The chief environmental concerns associated with modern landfills are emissions of greenhouse gases, as we know, particularly methane, and the long-term pollution of the environment through the leaching of heavy metals, household chemicals, consumer electronic products, plastics, and earlier generation rechargeable batteries, such as NiCads. The unpredictable toxic contents of landfill sites are yet to fully reveal their future impacts. Of course, waste needs to be managed, but what do we understand about where it goes and what really happens to it? Does a disconnection occur between the person and the end life of purchased products that lead to a more wasteful society as a result? This visual shows Geoscience Australia's published metadata. When translated using Google Earth, we can access a number of sites here. Currently, there's 918 sites. You can see mapped out across Australia. Some of them are landfill sites and some of them are waste management facilities or recycling facilities as well. We can see their locations and generally in terms of population distribution, we can kind of see how things are quite easily clustered around population density and area. But the data is really interesting because it doesn't really show us any estimations of land space that's used. I mean, you can click in on those thumbtacks, open up the little pop-up menu, and you can find out features about the sites, about who's operating them, who owns the sites, but there's a lot of information that's not included. Scale is one of them. The age of the sites is not included, and I guess the longevity or the future planning for the sites is not able to be included yet. So when we're talking about waste, I want to clarify what I mean. So I'm going to use the Australian Government classification. Here waste is defined as any substance that is discarded, emitted or deposited in the environment in such volume, constituency or manner as to cause an alteration in the environment. So I guess while this classification is useful insofar as it describes waste as substances or processes that ultimately alter nature, it does not directly associate waste to human activity. So I find this interesting. For example, there's a very different emphasis placed when we think of exempling to waste or to be wasteful. They're actions that are associated with human behaviours of misuse or squandering or the exhaustion of resources, for example. The demand on natural resources to design, power, manufacture, package, sell, distribute, recycle and ultimately dispose of the artefacts of consumer culture are ever increasing. Raw materials required to manufacture products, though, are coming more than ever before from recycled materials. And I guess in terms of environmental management, this is clearly positive progress. However, it is also evident that we continue to produce more metal, more plastic, more paper products, and from new and raw materials to keep up with the economic demands of growth embedded in post-industrial culture. This is most certainly a major concern when we reflect on the magnitude of waste, typically defined in such reports as millions of tonnes. So it's calculated in millions of tonnes. And these are being diverted to landfill annually with a prediction of long-term polluting consequence. These data forms are what we typically find in published waste management reports and policy documents. They're designed to produce a body of evidence over a defined period of time for those within the waste management sector or government sector dealing with regulation and waste reporting. Data structures such as charts, tables, graphs, and text found throughout these reports are typically displayed in isolation from one another, like on separate pages, chapters, or within different documents, meaning that readers will typically view them in this way. So this makes it difficult to align potential relationships, often across data sets, or make comparisons of complex tabled information without having specific questions in mind. The majority of public data available about waste is currently presented in this kind of format and is explanatory in nature, displayed without apparent intention to persuade nor to highlight important findings over significant ones. In other words, these graphs provide a visual structure only that represents the numerical data as the visual description of the results. So I'll talk a little bit about the modern midden now, which is a small part of a big story, I guess, of waste. I describe this installation work and research project as an immersive visual data story. The environment of the installation is designed for people to experience, contemplate, listen, alter, and engage with other participants about the nature of materials and how they are disposed of in Australia. The participatory experiences are central to the project as they build upon existing data, such as we saw in the previous slides, to generate new evidence about our relationships with waste. In this context, data visualization, as well as household items themselves, act as the data. This was designed to provide a strategy which frames the past, witnesses the future, and potentially imagines the future. The visualizations provide a space for exchange of personal knowledge, emotion, memories, and doubt. On a weekly basis, landfill and recycling materials are collected in household curbside bins and taken away in a truck. Householders do not visually experience any accumulation of waste that is generated by them and thus have no direct connection to where that waste is going. Interrogating the material nature of disposable products is important to the relationship that we have with waste, as many packaged products are designed to have a short lifespan, to be convenient, and to make our lives easier. Disposable objects are not valued after their useful life is complete, and because they are designed to serve that purpose, the relationship we have with these objects becomes transient and habitual. There is an impoverishment of sensory experience, of superficiality, and the loss of relationship with objects. We tend to perceive a disposable world, a world of objects without depth that leave no trace in our memories, but leave a growing mountain of refuse. I would argue that the systems we have designed to manage household and municipal waste do in fact contribute to this ongoing disconnection, and that our understanding of objects has become socially constructed in this way. Rubbish becomes exactly what it is, rubbish, taken away, never to be seen again. How then could a disruption, something unpredictable, help to make visible the personal or collective habits of wastefulness without causing paralysis. During the modern midden, participants are invited to handle, sort and categorise pre-collected refuse from households over a set duration. By making the accumulated evidence of waste materials seen, we can witness and share the new nature of our own creation. By including activities that leave behind a residue of performed messages, a new form of public ownership can occur. Participation can be active, choosing and doing, or contemplative, thinking and feeling. However, when participants can affect the space and leave evidence of this for other participants, the ongoing dialogue creates new ways to share ideas and find solutions. In this design space, the dialogical experiences that unfold can unlock confronting issues that those that potentially could result in emotional responses of apathy, issue fatigue, or even fear. The immersive possibilities of installation for experiencing environments, witnessing and performing of actions, and the telling of stories, something else that data can do, provide access to change making in interesting ways. When activities become those that one chooses to do, as opposed to activities where one is told what to do, these interactions can become constructive, memorable, and enjoyable exchanges. The containment of waste in landfill sites does present an opportunity for deepening response to the visible and invisible collisions of habitable and non-habitable places. The traces we leave in the land, the air, and the ocean. Do we perceive other sites in similar ways, such as in marine environments, where now the non-biodegradable materials of human making have a lifespan that is no longer contained or predictable? The ever-shifting force of the oceans now holds this unpredictable data story of future challenge with waste as it collides with nature. Thank you. Thank you for listening.